about this La Vega team that you've been covering, that you've had a chance to be in close contact with, man. They have had sort of an up and down season if you're from the outside looking in.
Yeah. And here's the thing about La Vega, and Coach Hyde made it very clear, going into the season. We have a brutal non-district schedule.
Yeah.
Every team that they've played has been ranked. I think, their worst loss came to Salina, and right now Salina is ranked number one in Class 4A D1.
Yeah.
So there's no shame there. They lost to West Orange Stark. This is another 4A D1 team who is ranked in the top 15. Last week going into Brownwood to beat another team that was ranked in the top 20 in Class 4A D1.
Yeah.
And to pitch a shutout.
Shutout.
Very, very, very masterful performance by the Pirates. We saw Bryson Rowland. This is a guy that you can't tackle in the phone booth,
man.
And he did Bryson Rowland things as a 4-year varsity starter. We saw him. We understand. He did what he did.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And so for La Vega to come back off of back-to-back losses, and then to throw a shutout on the road against a very, very talented Brownwood ball club, that was impressive.
Yeah, super impressive. And I mean, you segued into it perfectly, man. La Vega goes out there against a top-ranked team in Brownwood, a team that people weren't sure. La Vega had dropped two games in a row. If, like I said, if you're on the outside looking in, you just see the losses and you're not really thinking about the in-depth, like you just explained, Salina being a top school in 4A Division 1, West Orange Stark being one of the top schools in 4A Division 1. So a lot of people had question marks coming in this Brownwood, and it was a masterclass. Just like you said, a great coaching job by Coach Hyde. His players stepped up to the plate. They knew what was at stake. Brownwood's not an easy place to go to and play either. You previewed last week on the show talking about the history that they have at this program. This is one of the more historic football programs in the state of Texas. So to go in there and get a win in the way that they were able to get the win, pitching the shutout, 43-0, Bryson Rowland, 18 carries, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, this guy is as advertised.
And that was all in the first half.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think he played a snap in the second half.
Yeah.
He didn't need to.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is we're seeing the ability of Don Hyde and his coaching staff to make adjustments. Coach Hyde told me, if you listen to the pregame show last week, he was saying, "Hey, listen, we're not big. We're just not big. We're going to be undersized going into every matchup. But what we have to do is we have to figure out how to use our quickness to our advantage." And that's exactly what we saw, because Brownwood had a couple of kids, 6'2" or taller, 300 pounds. Like, Brownwood had some beef.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't. It didn't manifest into them being able to do anything on the offensive side of the ball. La Vega defense, those guys, they were just like dogs that just hunted and brought home scalps.
Yeah. And I mean, they did a phenomenal job in that game. Like I said, Bryson Rowland did great. Jabari Thornton had 5 catches, 108 yards. And most of these guys, like you said, they didn't even play the second half. This is really all first half stats. And now that I'm seeing this team get into its groove, and now they've had some time to learn each other some more. A lot of these guys been playing with each other, but you add in new pieces every year, and it takes time to gel. I know everybody wants you to just come in and be automatic, but when you're playing such a tough schedule, I mean, a real gauntlet like La Vega is playing, it's tough to come in and be able to do that. So this weekend, they got a huge test, like they've been tested every week so far. And this might be the biggest test that they've got so far. And taking on Stephenville is coming to town. This is a team that's one of La Vega's rivals almost. They've been playing these guys since high school. Back when I was in high school in 2014, a lot of my friends from over there were talking about how they played against Jared Stidham, who's in the league right now, when he was at Stephenville, and what the Stephenville program has been able to do. We're looking at Coy Eakin that's on Texas Tech making plays every weekend now. The receiver out of Stephenville. They've got guys on this squad as usual. And this offense this year is very, very explosive. They've been putting up 40 and 50 every week is what it seems like, sometimes pitching shutouts against teams. They have a dynamic running back who's been going over 100 yards just about every week. Their quarterback play has been great, as usual, like we just talked about. Jared Stidham, who went there, if we go back to the early 2000s, Kevin Kolb, who played in the NFL for some years, was at Stephenville. So quarterback play, they're used to that here. Talk about a little bit about this Stephenville and La Vega matchup. We got it tomorrow.
Yeah, what you have in this Stephenville program, this is basically what Coach Doty has been able to do. This is basically an extension of what Art Briles did when he was there, right?
Yeah.
And so this is a offense. It's a big play offense. They don't mind putting the ball in the air. Their quarterback is extremely accurate. I want to say he's completed like 80% of his passes so far this year.
Yeah.
So this is a guy. He's not going to put the ball in danger. Then they have a four-star recruit at a receiver in Tristan Gentry.
Yeah.
He's already given a verbal to Texas Tech. And this is just one, like you said, a continuation of this program putting guys into the next level. This is going to be a big test for La Vega because La Vega plays man-to-man defense. And so, and they've done a pretty decent job so far in running that 4-3 man-to-man D. They're going to be tested this week.
Oh, yeah.
Because one thing Stephenville doesn't mind doing is they don't mind putting the ball in the air.
Yeah.
and then to make bad things worse, they have a very decent running back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Decent.
So, and this guy, he scored both touchdowns last week when they played Wiley. In their win against Wiley.
Yeah.
So this is a Stephenville team that's going to come in with a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
All guns are going to be loaded for Stephenville when they show up for homecoming Friday night in Belmead.
Yeah, it's going to be a great one, like you said. It's going to be homecoming, so the atmosphere will be great. It's going to be a great time to be able to watch some football. And like you said, man, this Stephenville team does not mind putting the ball in the air. When I got a chance to watch them maybe a couple years ago when they had Coy Eakin and those guys there, and I think Lambert was their quarterback. Man, I mean, that 40 passes is nothing for them. Like they don't mind putting the ball in the air whatsoever. They have athletes at the receiver position, and somehow they keep finding a way to breed these quarterbacks. So they got another quarterback in there that is a baller and has been balling all year long. So I don't want you to give too much away, but what are some of the keys in this game for La Vega to be able to be successful tomorrow against Stephenville?
Yeah, I just think that the main thing that La Vega has to do is because they thrive in this man-to-man defense. I think their defensive backs, they need to make sure that they're on assignment in terms of covering their man. But I think the main thing is La Vega needs to generate a pass rush.
Yeah.
They're not very big on the defensive line, but they are very fast. They are quick. Guys like Warren Richardson Jr.
Yeah.
Salty guy. Whenever he makes a tackle, it's with bad intention.
Yeah.
They need guys like him. Broderick Scott.
Yeah.
They need these kids to generate a pass rush to make sure that the Stephenville quarterback doesn't feel comfortable in the pocket. You want to flush him out of the pocket. He's not an athlete in terms of I'm going to roll out and make a play off script.
Yeah.
He sits in the pocket and dissects things.
Yeah.
And let the plays kind of come to him. You have to put pressure on him. And so I think the main thing that La Vega needs to focus on tomorrow night is generating a pass rush.
For sure. So, folks, a huge game coming up tomorrow. I want you guys to make sure you are ready. You can listen right here on 94.5 FM and Infinity Sports Radio, Central Texas. if you want to be able to watch some of the broadcasts, you can go to YouTube right here on Centex Sports Network, and you'll be able to watch. Said is going to be there, man, and guiding you through the game. So you guys get ready. This is a huge matchup, and it is homecoming for La Vega. So all of y'all are not going to be able to get in. So if you can't get in and you want to watch or listen, come right here to Centex Sports Network or on 94.5 FM as well, and you can listen to it. So, Said, we talked a little high school football, man. Huge game, college slate coming up this weekend. Before we go talk about this weekend's games, I want to talk a little bit about the home team in the Baylor Bears who lost a tough one. I mean, that you know, made me a little mad like everybody else was last week against Colorado in that game.
And listen, Jalen, I don't want to sound like you know, that spoiled milk guy.
Yeah.
But at this point, I'm really concerned about the whole Dave Aranda regime. I just don't. I've seen some things, questionable play calls, losing games that you're supposed to win. I don't want to necessarily say that I'm putting him on the hot seat.
Oh, he's on the hot seat. You don't have to say it. He's on the hot seat, and he knows he's on the hot seat. That's why he started coaching the defense again this year. He knows he's on the hot seat.
Yeah. But at this point, especially in this era of college football, to where we have NIL and transfer portal and things of that nature, and everybody made a big deal about Baylor having a $1 billion endowment.
Yeah.
More than any Ivy League school.
Mm-hmm.
You should have talent on the yard.
Yeah.
And so if we're just gonna take that off the board in terms of discussion, okay, so we have talent. What are we doing with it?
Yeah.
That's to be the next question. And I just don't think that they're doing the best that they could be done with this particular talent.
And that's a fair assessment to say. Like you said, they've got the NIL money. We saw the shirts in the summer that said we're paying players. We know that we see the recruiting class that they have coming in. And there's so many questions around, that's why this weekend is going to show a lot. They've got to find a way to have some success against a BYU team that is undefeated. They're ranked now in the nation. They're number 22 in the nation. Baylor's playing at home. You're 0-1 in conference. This is a big week. This is a huge week. You dropped a game against Colorado. You should have won that game. That is what it is. It's behind you. You got beat by some Hail Marys, and you got beat by some awesome quarterback play. And, you just got to throw your hands up, and that is what that is. You got to take care of business this week because, like you said, Dave Aranda is on the hot seat. And with this recruiting class coming in, I'm interested to see what's going to happen here. Yeah, if Baylor does lose these games, do they fire Aranda, and what's going to happen to this great recruiting class that they have coming in right now?
This is a bigger game than I think most people realize for Baylor. This is pretty much a must-win situation.
Oh yeah,
for the Bears, hosting a ranked opponent coming in to your home field. Like I said, with having all this talent on hand and all this talent up to come, you have to win this game. And if Baylor doesn't win on this game on Saturday, I think what we're seeing is the beginning of the end of the Dave Aranda era.
And you wouldn't be wrong to say that at all. I hope that I don't know what I hope yet. Actually, I got to see this game and maybe a couple other games because I like Dave Aranda's a nice guy.
He is.
He's a really nice guy, Absolutely. And I think he's a good leader of men. But that doesn't always equate to good coaching. He's showing that he can coach defense, and the recruiting class they have coming in is promising. But if you repeat the same thing over and over and expect a different result, that's a definition of insanity. So we can't keep bringing the same guys back in and expecting something different to happen if they're not able to get it done. Do they have to go out here and be ranked and make the college football playoffs? No. But they do have to show improvement from what was a 4-win season last year. And right now we're sitting at 500 and our only wins being to SFA and Air Force.
Can I transition this into the NFL, or are we going to do that after the break?
I'm going to do that in a second. I'm going to talk one more college game, then we're going to jump on the NFL in a second.
Okay, because the Baylor Bears remind me of NFL team that's popular in these parts. Okay?
Yeah, I think I know which team you're talking about. But we'll get to that in just a second. Right before we go to NFL, I want to talk a little bit about this huge game coming up, a game of the week, obviously, in Alabama. Yeah, Alabama and Georgia playing each other. Most of the times, these two wouldn't play each other in the regular season because they've always had the SEC West and the SEC East. But with the new conference alignment, there are no more divisions within the conference. So now these teams get to play each other. Both teams coming in undefeated. Both teams with championship aspirations. Georgia with the sour taste in their mouth because Alabama is the one that knocked them out of the college football playoffs last year, or to knock them out of the chance to be in the college football playoffs. Essentially took their spot. Georgia was undefeated. Only game they lost was to Alabama, and Alabama ended up getting a nod over Georgia. This is a new era of Alabama football. This is not Nick Saban, but these are Nick Saban's players still. This is Nick Saban's philosophies still to a certain degree. Georgia coming in with Kirby Smart, who was at Alabama for years as a defensive mind there, and he's had some success, but hasn't had a lot of success against Alabama. We can go all the way back to the Jalen Hurts /Tua game in the national championship a few years back, where Alabama came back and won that in overtime. I mean, it seems like this Nick Saban era of Alabama has had Kirby Smart's number at Georgia. But Nick Saban's not there anymore. So coming into this game at Alabama, how do you see this one shaking out with these two teams?
In my mind, because we're talking about number 2 versus number 4, I think is where they're ranked.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, it's all going to come down to Carson Beck.
Yeah.
If Carson Beck can live up to the moment, if he can play big in a big-time game, and he hasn't had a lot of opportunities to do such.
Yeah.
He hasn't really been familiar with this type of environment that he's going to step into, going into Alabama on Saturday. And if you look at, mock drafts, Carson Beck is being projected as a lottery pick in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he's not worthy of that.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I still need to see it.
So do I.
I need to see you play NFL lottery worthy football this weekend on the road in a hostile environment. I mean, so in my mind, it really all kind of boils down to how does Carson Beck perform?
Yeah, it's both the quarterbacks are going to determine this game. Does Jalen Milroe continue to show the improvement that he showed so far this year? If he can have his way and use his athleticism, I don't think Georgia has a chance, honestly, in this game, especially with the way that they struggled against Kentucky. But like you said, Carson Beck, first-team preseason All-American. He was the projected number 1 pick coming into this season before they started playing football. He's got to show, because I'm just like you. I just haven't seen it yet. I'm not saying that he's not that guy. I haven't seen anything in his career so far that warrants to me that he's the clear-cut best quarterback. He's the clear-cut first-team All-American. So he's going to have to prove it in a hostile environment. See, the times he's played against Alabama has been in the Georgia Dome in Atlanta on a mutual field, which isn't that mutual because Athens is right outside of Atlanta.
Technically a neutral site.
Technically a neutral site, but it's right down the street from where they play football.
Right.
Now you're going to Alabama for the first time. None of these Georgia players have been to Alabama and played in this environment in Tuscaloosa, and this is their first time getting to see it. Kirby Smart's going to have his squad coached up, man, in this one because these teams are very evenly matched, but Alabama, in my eyes, has the advantage as of right now.
And when you're talking about the Georgia program, the Georgia program is hot right now, right?
Yeah.
They put a ton of guys in the league.
Oh, yeah.
In the last 2 to 3 seasons, right? Ton of guys in the league, first rounders.
Yeah.
The Georgia program is hot. But I think this is really going to be the first time that we're going to see if this program can live up to the hype.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, that was a great way to put it. Can this program live up to the hype? They've been back-to-back national champions and all this stuff, but they've had some disappointing seasons if you look at just the Kirby Smart era over the last 7 to 8 years where they kind of fold at the end, a la what happened in the SEC championship last year against a wounded Alabama team. Honestly, they weren't even really at 100%, and Alabama was still found a way to be able to win that game. So this is huge for Kirby Smart, and this is huge for Alabama. Will Alabama stay being at the top with a new coach in there that's not Nick Saban? Right now they're 4-0, or they're 3-0, but they haven't been tested like they're about to be tested against Georgia. And a lot of implications for both teams coming into this game.
That's a fair question because it is a new era in Alabama.
Yeah.
I personally like Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah.
I think he did great things with that Washington program.
Oh, yeah.
Before he came over, brought them up to national relevance, right? And then taking over after, to come behind Nick Saban, that's a hard role for anybody to, to have to kind of follow. But like I said, Nick Saban players are still there on campus.
Yeah.
There's talent on the yard, and I think that we've seen out of Coach DeBoer, he hasn't tried to reinvent the wheel. He just, hey, listen, this is what we do, and we're just going to do what we do and be who we are. And as long as he continues to, kind of follow that philosophy, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But now listen, Georgia coming in is going to be a test because Georgia is talented.
Yeah.
They are. They're extremely talented. It's going to be a test. But I think if Alabama just does Alabama stuff, Alabama's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They got the home crowd. You got to use that to your advantage, which they always do. Right now, Georgia a 2-point favorite in this game. So Alabama, I mean,
Can I go ahead and say I'll take Alabama in the points?
I'm taking Alabama in the points too. I'm right there with you. I'm taking that +2 all day long, especially with Alabama playing at home. It's going to be a top-notch matchup, and like you said, Kalen DeBoer is doing a great job so far. I'm interested to see going forward, though, how is it going to look when he brings his guys in there. Obviously, you still have the Alabama brand. So it's not going to be that hard. I'm not going to make it seem like he's trying to, revive Art Browse when he came to Baylor. It's nothing like that. You still got the brand of Alabama, but when he gets the quarterback that's at Duncanville right now is going to come in next year. When he keeps the freshman stud Ryan Williams, who's I think he's 17, he's leading the team in yards right now, which is just crazy to see how these freshmen have been able to come in and have an impact like the kid at Ohio State and Wingo at Texas.
Recruiting is not a problem for Alabama because of the brand, but let's see what type of kids is he gonna bring in?
Yeah.
It's not necessarily can you recruit with Alabama, it's how are you gonna recruit?
Yeah.
Who are you bringing in? What type of system are you trying to put in place? What do you want your program to look like in terms of talent?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to have a problem bringing in talent.
Yeah, for sure. That's not going to be a problem. Like I said, they still got the brand of Alabama. You're right there in the hotbed, and right next to Alabama and Georgia and Louisiana and Texas is all within reach distance of you being able to. Yeah, Florida's right there. You can, and there's really no teams in Florida that everybody's looking forward to trying to go to if you're talking about Florida State and maybe Miami, but Florida and Florida State being down right now. So I'm sure Alabama and Georgia are going to eat off of some of those recruits as well. So, like I said, folks, a lot of great games coming up this weekend in college football. So I hope you guys are ready to be able to watch it. Baylor plays at 11 o'clock. So they'll go ahead and decide if they're going to mess my Saturday up early.
Do you have a line? What's the line on the Baylor game?
Let me go back to it real quick. The line on the Baylor game.
BYU should be favored, right?
Baylor's favorite, 3.5-point favorite.
Really?
I guess they're at home, and that's going to give them, I don't know how much to read into that with them being a 3.5-point favorite. But
honestly, this is a game that Baylor has to win.
Yeah. I think that's what Vegas is thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily make them the favorite.
Yeah.
Because BYU is ranked.
Yeah, the 4-0.
This is a undefeated team coming
and just beat up on Kansas State last week.
Right,
who was a top 3 team in the Big 12.
Yeah, I'm saying a good Kansas State team.
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that Baylor is favored. Because I was about to say, give me Baylor in the points. Ain't no points to get.
Nah. You better pick this one money line if you're going to try to pick something in this. You're playing a dangerous game trying to pick on the points there. So, like I said, folks, a lot of good games coming up this weekend in football. But, while we got you here, I got to ask you about what's going on in the NFL. First off, a crazy NFL season in these first 3 weeks. Every week I come in here and talk about, we give previews and prognostications about what do we think is going to happen. And every single week I end up shocked about something that just happened. We thought the New Orleans Saints were world beaters. We thought this is the most prolific offense we've seen in years.
I never thought that.
Yeah. We know you didn't. We know you didn't think that. But
as an Eagles fan, I never thought the Saints were world beaters. What I did think about the Saints, though, I thought that Clint Kubiak had hit on something. And he was able to unlock something, unlock the potential of the talent they had there. When I did my fantasy draft, Derek Carr was not on my board at all.
No.
You know what I'm saying? He shouldn't have been on anybody's board.
Yeah, no, he definitely wasn't on mine.
But he's Clint Kubiak has been able to get the most out of Derek Carr at quarterback play. Mm-hmm. And he's not asking Carr to do a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just basically check down Charlie plays, and when you have a 50-50 shot with a man one-on-one downfield, take the shot.
Yeah.
And this is why we've seen people like Rashid Shaheed, come up with some big plays.
Yeah.
But I think what the Eagles did against the Saints, and this is just going to be me tapping my Eagle cap. I think what we saw is, you can defend against the Saints. What you have to do is you just have to understand what they're trying to do. Take away all the check down Charlie stuff.
Yeah.
That you got to play assignment football.
Yeah.
Sure. This is what the Cowboys didn't understand when they played the Saints, and the Saints hung a 40 burger on them.
Yeah.
And and I love to say that.
Yeah, we know you
as
do.
An Eagle fan.
We know you do.
Yeah. But this is not a offense that's just dynamic. This is not last year's Miami Dolphins offense, to where every week it's a track meet. It's not that. But what they do is they exploit opportunities that present themselves.
Yeah.
And what the Eagles were able to do last week against the Saints is they just took those opportunities away. So now you're going to have to just play straight up one-on-one big boy type football.
Yeah.
And this is why the game ended in, what was it, 15-12?
Yeah.
It wasn't pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
But it wasn't pretty. But this is what you have to relegate the Saints offense into doing that.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, they're gonna take advantage of the opportunities they have to go downfield when they catch you in one-on-one coverage. My guy on your guy.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw it up and give my guy a chance to make a play.
So I gotta ask you, man, this Philadelphia team, they've been one of the more interesting ones to watch just because of it's only been 3 games, but the swing of emotions from the 3 games has been so crazy. So for one, I think Vic Fangio did a great job coaching that defense, like you just alluded to, man. I think he did a fantastic job, and he just took advantage of the points that he needed to take advantage of in that game. So, one, what do you think about this? Because Philly's defense was up in the air and was getting trashed after that Atlanta game by everybody. Everyone said this Philly defense is trash. The rookies aren't going to catch on. The Georgia guys are bust, and they come out here and clamp up what was the number 1 offense coming into this.
Yeah, Philly's defense, they do have issues.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, there's no way to sugarcoat that.
Yeah.
They do have issues, but I think Vic Fangio, he's an accomplished defensive coordinator. He has a storied career in the league as a DC. I think what we're gonna find out from Philadelphia, in my opinion, I think this is a defense. They don't have enough talent. There's a deficit there in terms of talent. Even though Harry Roseman puts on a master class every year as a GM.
Yes, he does.
They just don't have enough talent. On his defense, they just don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Vic Fangio is understanding how to mask our weaknesses and put people in a position to where they can make plays. Because that's all you can really do as a coach is put somebody in a position to make a play. And I think Vic Fangio has kind of figured that out now. He understands what he has. This is a month into the season, and I think he knows what he's dealing with. He's not happy with what he has to do with. but he gets paid to figure out how to make this thing work, and I think that's what he's doing. I don't think Philadelphia, especially with the state of the NFC East, with the Cowboys being kind of who they are right now, and I'm not going to say anything about it. But what you have in the NFC East right now, you have teams like Washington figuring out right how to get the best out of the roster that we currently have. You have the Giants doing the same thing. So I think if Philadelphia is going to be relevant in this division this year in terms of being a potential division winner, now is the time for that coaching staff to figure out what we have to do with these guys that we have, because we're not getting any new guys.
This is it. And I think, like you said, teams are starting to figure out, especially in that NFC East, how to use this talent that they have. Saquon Barkley is proven to be that when he was coming out of college, he was the best running back prospect that we've seen since Adrian Peterson.
Absolutely.
And he is showing those flashes now of what he could have been doing if he wasn't stuck in New York, obviously, for those first years.
Can we talk about Jaden Daniels?
Yeah. That's what I was about to ask you about next. Jaden. So I was talking about Saquon and the talent that they were able to bring in with him. And you see the Giants, like you said, trying to put together some pieces here. The Cowboys, once they figure out the pieces that they have there, they'll bounce back and they won't have they are not going to look as bad as they have in those first 2 weeks, especially probably tonight, even though the Giants could win this game tonight. But seeing Jaden Daniels on the Commanders and the absolute masterclass that he was able to put on Monday night against a Bengals defense that just played good the week before against Kansas City, he comes out and hangs 38 up on them, only 2 incompletions in the game. Played a great game. What goes through your mind as a Philly fan when you're looking over there and seeing that young kid at the Commanders?
Obviously, I hate it as a Philly fan. but the one thing that you have to recognize, this is a kid, like the light bulb came on early for him. In his rookie season. We don't see that a lot. Normally it takes rookie quarterbacks. They have to play 8, 9, 10 games before the light bulb comes on. And I think the light bulb came on for Jaden Daniels. Obviously, Cincinnati defense is not world beaters in any sense of that term. But, I think, Jaden Daniels we already knew he was a exceptional talent. We knew that. Heisman Trophy winner.
For sure.
We knew he was an exceptional talent. But I think the only question that, at least that I had in my mind, was, when is he going to get it? I think he gets it.
I think we figured that out.
I think he gets it now. And then the other NFC East team that's in contention, at least as of right now, in terms of record, the Giants. Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors has saved the career of Daniel Jones.
And you're saying a lot by saying that, because I don't know. He needs a lot of saving in his career. But, man, I mean, after last week, watching what he was able to do for Daniel Jones and just helping control that passing game, it's hard not to think that, man. I mean, Neighbors.
And understand, the Giants chose to pay Daniel Jones and not pay Saquon Barkley, which to me was insane.
Crazy.
But, my team ended up benefiting from it.
It did.
By signing Saquon. I think by them drafting Malik Neighbors, because he is literally a guy, all you have to do, his catch radius is ridiculous. All you have to do is just throw the ball somewhere around him, somewhere near him. He ain't got to be accurate.
No.
Just somewhere where he can just get a hand on it. He's going to bring it in. He's that special. I think Malik Neighbors is probably the best rookie wide receiver that we've seen in the NFL since Justin Jefferson.
Or Jamar Chase. And he went to this. I mean, these LSU receivers, man, it's it's really crazy to see.
LSU is wide receiver U, right?
They have to be. They have to be. Going all the way back to Odell and Jarvis about 10 years ago when they came out.
I thought it was Ohio State.
Yeah.
But maybe it's LSU.
You know, I might have to take LSU. If you're talking about at least top-notch production, I got to go at LSU. Said, before we let you get off here, man, I got to ask you about the preview of the game tonight, man. I know these are two teams that there's no love lost between you and these two teams, but the Giants and the Cowboys. How do you see this one shaking out tonight in about an hour?
Actually, just to be objective about it, because I would love to just hate on the Cowboys.
Yeah, of course.
That's what we do as Eagles fans.
Yeah.
But to speak about it objectively, honestly, this is a game that the Cowboys have to win.
Yeah.
They're kind of spiraling out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's wrong with their defense. I can't tell you why they're not performing the way that they should be performing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no wholesale changes.
Yeah.
But once again, with Malik Neighbors playing the way that he's playing, and Daniel Jones playing with a lot of confidence right now, it wouldn't surprise me. Listen, I'm not a betting man.
Yeah.
Okay? I know we talked about lines and stuff earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not a betting man.
Mm-hmm.
I would think the Giants would be favored to win this game. Is there a line?
Yeah, there's a line, and the Giants are +5 right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I am a betting man, and I'm taking those points. I think +5. They got Dallas a 5-point favorite right now. That's tough.
So seriously, what is wrong with the Dallas Cowboy defense?
They can't stop the run, man. It's as simple as that. They can't stop the run. They got Dan Quinn's players, but they don't have Dan Quinn's philosophy. He knew how to get out of this defense. They couldn't stop the run last year, but they were better, much better against the. I mean, they just gave up 270 rushing yards last week.
And the Giants are not coming in this game looking to run.
No.
Devin Singletary is, he's not anybody's version of Derrick Henry.
No.
Not at all. The Giants are not coming into this game looking to run.
No.
So if it should play to the Cowboys' strength on defense, because the Giants are going to be looking to pass the ball. They're going to be looking to kind of throw the ball around a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just I just don't. I've seen the Cowboys play twice this year. I just don't understand what they're doing on defense.
I don't think they understand. I think that's the problem is they don't understand what they're doing on defense either. But, it's going to be a very interesting game. I'm for sure going to be tuned in because, like you said, this is pretty much a must-win for the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be hard. It's a short week. Coming in on a couple days of rest. You got to fly all the way to New York. I'm sure they flew out there yesterday, so really just like 1 day of rest. So it's going to be a tough game for them, but they're favored in this one. And the Giants, I think the Cowboys are going to come out with the win in this one. But like I said, I'm taking those points. It'll be a close one because it's just a tough job for Dallas to be able to do, especially with the problems that they're having on the defensive end.
Yeah,
just like you said.
And I fully believe this needs to be the beginning of a 4-game winning streak for Dallas.
Yeah.
Now it's going to be hard to do. They got the Steelers, they got the Falcons, they got
Detroit.
This needs to be the beginning of a 4-game winning streak for Dallas. If not, you're going to be talking about McCarthy on the hot seat.
Yeah, and you have to. I think he's already that play is already in place as far as him being on the hot seat. They haven't extended his contract, even though they waited a long time to do everybody else's contract, but they haven't extended McCarthy's contract. So I think that play is already in play right now with them. So a lot riding on just this week 4 game, and that's what makes these games so interesting early in the season because there's already so many implications on these games before they go. So, folks, that game is at 7 o'clock. Like I said, I know y'all are all going to be tuned into that one. I'll be tuned in as well. Said, man, appreciate you coming on the show. Got to have you here on these Thursdays to not only preview La Vega, but to be able to talk some more Eagles as well. And unfortunately, talk about the Cowboys too. I know you always like throwing in a couple words about them as well.
I try to keep my Cowboy bias at a minimum in these situations. Definitely going to be an Eagles fan. Definitely rooting for La Vega. I urge everybody to tune in tomorrow night for the broadcast of the La Vega versus Stephenville football game. It's homecoming for La Vega.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of pomp and circumstance and things going on. Just looking forward to the Pirates lining up against another
Yeah.
top-ranked football program.
Yep, they got Stephenville, and that is tomorrow, folks. At 7 o'clock. Pregame will be at 6:30. Make sure you guys are tuning in with that. You'll hear my man say it on there, calling the game for you guys. You can catch it right here on 94.5 FM on Infinity Sports Central Texas. And if you want to watch, go over to YouTube and go to Centex Sports Network. Folks, we're going to take a quick break before we come back and talk some things before we go to hour number 2. Stay locked in, everybody. Once again, go to the YouTube and subscribe. Download the app, Centex Sports 1. We're going to be right back here on Centex Primetime. Stay tuned.
You're looking for something new and unforgettable in Waco? Come to the Blazing Asian, where authentic Cambodian flavors meet creative culinary flair. Voted People's Choice as Waco's #1 Asian restaurant since 2019 by both the Wacoan Magazine and the Waco Tribune Herald. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin, we're serving up family recipes with a twist. Blazing Asian egg rolls are rolled fresh daily, and their sauces or marinades are made in-house with love. Stop by today. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin. And for Baylor students, enjoy 10% off with your student ID.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all know.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
The East Waco Empowerment Project, along with City Center Waco, is hosting WeBo, Workshop and Business Opportunity, to help create more entrepreneurs. Business owners like Aniceto Charles of True Jamaica Restaurant and Carla Dotson of Boardwalk on Elm attended WeBo to develop their business ideas into successful Black-owned businesses right in the heart of East Waco. WeBo can also help you turn your side hustle or business idea into the next thriving Black-owned business in our community. If you would like to attend this 10-week intense entrepreneurial workshop, go to WeBoWaco.org. That's WIBO Waco.org. Space.
This is live from the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports Studios.
That's right, sports fans.
About to show these boys how we do it. You ready?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis, your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Welcome back in, folks, to Centex Primetime. We talk about the primetime topics in sports and not only Central Texas, but around the nation. Just had Cedric Eigerhart on here with me a second ago talking about La Vega football, talking about Philadelphia Eagles football, and a few other things as well. So, folks, like we said, got a lot of good games coming up, not only this weekend, but tonight. Dallas is taking on the New York Giants in a rivalry game, a game that is much needed for these guys. On here, I'm going to be joined on here by PJ Gaither, somebody we have on the show regularly, as we talk about some more of these football games, talk about some of these topics that are going on right now. We got guys leaving schools for NIL deals. We'll touch on that in just a second. We've got high school football coming up. We got college football coming up. Georgia and Alabama getting a chance to play each other in the regular season. So we got a few things to jump on here and talk about. PJ, can you hear me over there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, sir, man. So, like I said, a lot of different topics to talk about, but we'll do a quick one here before we take another short break for the top of the hour. I want to talk about Jaden Daniels, man. We were just talking about this the other day, and Jaden Daniels coming in playing for the Commanders, and the game that he had on Monday Night Football kind of putting the league on notice, and it raises the question, unfortunately, but it's a question that I had even before the draft. Should Jaden Daniels be the #1 pick? He's coming into this game, or he came into the league as a #2 pick behind Caleb Williams. I think, they had a similar college career. You could take that. You could lean either way with those. I think at times Caleb Williams played better, but definitely last year Jaden Daniels had the better year, and he finished it off by winning the Heisman. Caleb Williams, a Heisman Trophy winner as well. But when you see both of these guys play, you see the way that Jaden Daniels was able to help that LSU team that was kind of falling after they won that national championship. They kind of started falling off the map. He was able to bring them back into contention. They weren't able to get to the college football playoffs, but they had a great season nonetheless, and he had a great season. He's already balling right now in the league, and Caleb Williams is struggling. Just to be honest, they're struggling. Has yet to come out there. They got a win in week 1, and that was from their defense. That really had nothing to do with him because he had 90 yards in that game. And then he struggled the next 2 games as well. So when you think about that, PJ, what do you think about, Jaden Daniels and his performance? And then what do you think about this rivalry that's already kind of starting in Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels?
I don't want to be biased because I do think that I did think that Caleb Williams. I don't think he was as good as Jaden Daniels coming out of college.
Yeah,
but I'm also an LSU fan too.
Yeah,
besides Texas and basketball. So I'm always go with the Tigers. But just realistically speaking, I don't think I can really say that. That he shouldn't have been the number 1 pick, though. And the reason why I say that is because I remember watching him at Oklahoma.
Yep.
And we remember that Red River game where he came into the game, after Spencer Rattler had started off pretty bad.
Yeah.
And Texas had got a good lead up on him and brought them back to win that game. I think he was a freshman at that time. I think he was a true freshman.
Yeah, true freshman.
So, he put in the work for sure to be the number 1 pick. Because even in that season, you could have. I think he was in the Heisman. Yeah, he was in the Heisman vote.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't win the Heisman that year, but he was in the Heisman vote. So I would say, as far as our career at college, and it's very similar, but I give the edge a little bit to Caleb Williams, which ended up making him be the number 1 pick. I feel like some of that was kind of gassing him up though at the same time because he did end up transferring to USC, and I feel like anytime USC has just some type of decent team, they're gonna always be a little gassed up.
Yeah.
But so you're in LA, man, you're in Hollywood, so they're gonna always gas you up when you're out there all the time. But I would say, man, and this is I'm a Cowboys fan, but I've been saying during the off season, when I seen that the Redskins even got him, I was like, man, it's gonna be a little ugly for us just because he brings something to that team that they really have been needing for years.
Yeah.
And they really just needed somebody who can spread the field out, man. Like they got guys like Terry McLaurin who he's been eating but has been having terrible quarterbacks.
Horrible quarterbacks.
Throughout his pretty much entire career. His entire career he's been having trash quarterbacks and he just needed somebody who could get him the ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give him the ball in space and allow him to do what we know that he's capable of doing, and we've been seeing him doing his whole entire career. So seeing them get that guy, man, I was like, man, it's going to be a little tough for anybody in the NFC East. And so far, that's what you kind of seeing. Definitely after this past Monday, you kind of seen little glimpse, of what they could possibly end up being. So I think Jaden Daniels right now, man, yeah, for sure. If you want to speak on who's playing better so far, for sure it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
I'm still out. I'm still, out trying to really just figure out and see if the Chicago Bears are going to get it together as far as on the offensive side. I really don't think it's all Caleb Williams right now. Some of it has to do with their O-line. A lot of it actually has to do with the O-line.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, also play calling as well.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I mean, it's the Chicago Bears, man. They just seem to struggle a lot as an organization, just trying to get things together. So, I really feel like the Redskins are a little better, at working with the talent that they have on their team.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Right now, like I said, Jaden Daniels, he that guy right now. The rivalry is going to be there. It's going to always be there. I don't even think they played each other yet. Have they even played each other?
Mm-mm. No.
The Redskins, definitely played each other. So, yeah, the rivalry is going to be there. as long as these guys are in the league amongst each other, it's going to be there for sure.
Yeah, and like you said, the Bears, this isn't just on Caleb Williams, and he had 363 yards last week, so it's not like he has stepped his play up, but you lose to an Indianapolis team that honestly hasn't been playing good at all and didn't play that good on Sunday either, but they found a way to get the win over them. This is not all on Caleb Williams. This is more like what you just said, man, that offensive line, and that was my point of why I thought Jaden Daniels would be better as far as what these situations that they're in coming into this, because they didn't get a line. Yeah, they went and got a running back. They went and got multiple receivers. You trade for Keenan Allen. You draft Roma Dunzier, who just had a 112-yard game. You get DJ Moore is still there, and they paid him a top contract. But you didn't pay anybody on the offensive line. The offensive line is going to end up getting this dude beat up, which you don't want to see from your number one pick. And, I'm kind of like how Tom Brady said a couple of weeks ago, man. I'm more of you want these kids to come in and maybe give them a year to sit, especially when you know your offensive line is bad. It's not going to kill these guys to have to come in and sit for a year and be able to learn the game. There's only so much you can learn when you're getting hit in the face every single play. It's only so much you can learn. And they're putting these guys in bad positions, and that's exactly what Caleb Williams is in. Go ahead.
Yeah, they just putting too much pressure on these guys, and it's just not realistic, man. Like, and it makes me mad because you got a lot of fans too, and this even goes to college. Mm-hmm. Guys just think that you're supposed to just come in and just naturally produce right off the bat, and that's just not realistic all the time. Yeah. And some of your best players, some of your favorite players from history, they didn't do that. They didn't come in and just produce right off the bat. Mm-mm. They didn't do that. It took some time for them, man. It probably took a year, maybe took two, some 3 or 4. Yeah. To really just, find themselves in the league or whether it's college, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm very on that. Just if you don't put the guy into a bad situation, because kind of like we've been seeing it, man, for the last few years. There's been a few quarterbacks that I feel that came into the league recently, and it's not that they're bad quarterbacks; they just were in bad situations, and the team really didn't help them. And so what they go and do is they bench the guy and then draft another guy to come and try to replace him. And then this guy who just got drafted, probably in the first round, first few picks, now he's considered a bust. But they didn't really help him develop. And if he probably had better help with development, he probably – now I'm not saying he'll probably be the best quarterback in the league, but he'll probably been decent. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. So you've seen a lot of guys get ran out the league because – the coaching is starting to kind of go downhill. College and NFL, man. Player development is almost non-existent now. You really just don't. Definitely when it comes to quarterback play, and that's why quarterback play right now is at an all-time low. It's at an all-time low. The numbers are. These guys don't know how to develop the QBs anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's because of like another thing that Tom Brady said on there. They're dumbing down these offenses to let guys come in and play early instead of sitting them and letting them learn the speed of the game, letting them take time to learn all these plays in the playbook. Right now they're dumbing it down so we can just get guys to come in here and play right away, and it's hurting teams. It's hurting these quarterbacks, and like you said, these guys are having a shorter shelf life. Usually quarterbacks, you can be – Chase Daniel was a backup for like 15 years. These guys are having shorter and shorter shelf lives because of the way that these offenses are playing, the way that these coaches are coaching them. I heard Mike Tomlin say that when he sees guys, they were talking about Justin Fields, when he sees guys say, this guy can't learn or this guy can't do anything, he said that's a coaching problem. That's a coaching flaw. And right now coaches are scared to coach. Now, that's coming from one of the best coaches in the NFL, one of the most consistent, if not the most consistent coach in the NFL, and Mike Tomlin. And I have to agree with him 100%, man. So the jury is still out on this Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels, and we'll be talking about this more and more as we get throughout the season. Folks, we're going to take another short break, and we're going to come back for the top of the hour. I'm here with PJ, and we're going to talk about some of this college football. There's a lot of storylines going on, players leaving schools because of NIL deals, a lot going on in college football. Then we're going to preview these NFL games for the weekend as well. Stay tuned and stay locked in right here on Centex Primetime. We're going to be right back after this short break.
Empowerment Project, along with City Center Waco, is hosting WeBo, Workshop in Business Opportunity, to help create more entrepreneurs. Business owners like Anastasia Charles of True Jamaica Restaurant and Carla Dotson of Boardwalk on Elm attended WeBo to develop their business ideas into successful Black-owned businesses right in the heart of East Waco. WeBo can also help you turn your side hustle or business idea into the next thriving Black-owned business in our community. If you would like to attend this 10-week intense entrepreneurial workshop, go to WeBoWaco.org. That's WIBO Waco.org. Space
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex 91.32. 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
Are you looking for something new and unforgettable in Waco? Come to the Blazing Asian, where authentic Cambodian flavors meet creative culinary flair. Voted People's Choice as Waco's #1 Asian restaurant since 2019 by both the Wacoan Magazine and the Waco Tribune Herald. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin, we're serving up family recipes with a twist. Blazing Asian egg rolls are rolled fresh daily, and their sauces or marinades are made in-house with love. Stop by today. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin. And for Baylor students, enjoy 10% off with your student ID.
This is live from the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports Studios.
That's right, sports fans.
About to show these boys how we do it. You ready?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis, your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Welcome back, everybody, into Centex Prime Time. Happy Friday Eve to everyone that's just now getting off of work and tuning in with us today on the 6 o'clock hour number 2 of Centex Prime Time. In hour number 1, we got a chance to talk with Cedric Eigelhart, who is the play-by-play man for the Vega Pirates, and got a chance to talk to him about some high school football, what we can expect coming up tomorrow as La Vega takes on Stephenville. Also, what we can expect going forward for this La Vega team. We got a chance to talk about his Philadelphia Eagles, too. Y'all couldn't see him in studio this time, but he had his Philadelphia hat on, so he was repping his squad, and they've got a big game coming up against Tampa Bay this weekend. So we've got plenty of topics to talk about here today, folks, in the NFL and college football and high school as well. I got PJ Gaither on here with me as well, and want to talk about a few trending topics in the sports world and in college football right now. We got to start with what we've seen out of UNLV. Now, UNLV doesn't get talked about much in college football. Haven't been talked about much in college basketball since really the 80s and 90s. But they've made some jumps, and they've made some headlines now in recent news because of NIL deals or a lack thereof. So their quarterback, Matthew Slucker, has led this team in passing yards and rushing yards through these first 3 games. He's led this team to an undefeated season so far, 3-0 on the season. He's brought back UNLV to some type of contention, at least in the Mountain West Conference. And he has decided to accept his redshirt year and transfer in the middle of the season. Well, he can't transfer in the middle of the season, but he's going to accept his redshirt year. And he said he's going to transfer in the offseason due to lack of NIL payment. Now, his gripe was that he's only received $3,000, and he was promised $100,000 in the NIL deal. Now, I have issues with this on both sides. Leaning to, from the perspective of Matthew, I understand it. You only got 1 year left, and honestly, this guy he's not going to have he doesn't have much draft capital as far as, or draft status as far as him getting drafted and going to this next level. So he's got to cash in now. He's got to try to get, if they promise you an NIL deal, this is the time to come in and get the NIL deal. They promised it $100K, and I had Wayne Walker in studio with me yesterday. We talked a little bit about this. Central Texas legend here and Waco Hall of Famer in football, went to Texas Tech, had a great career there, went on to play for the Chargers and the Vikings in the NFL. And he said these coaches will tell you anything to get you in here and get you to their school. He definitely understands Matthew's point of view as far as leaving, because these coaches will lie and they'll say whatever they can as far as promising a kid some money. And it would be one thing if they promised him $100K and he only got 50 or he only got 75. They gave this dude $3,000. Now, one of the coaches might have just reached in their pocket and handed him that $3K. They haven't given him pretty much any of his promised NIL deal coming into this. So he said, hey, I'm just going to set my red shirt. I'm sure they had back and forth before he decided this about where's my money, and they didn't come up with the money. So he said, cool, I'll just go and try to play out my last year somewhere else where I can get some NIL money before I have to go, and honestly, into the workforce. He might go be a coach. He might go be a real estate agent or something. I don't know what he's going to do, but it's probably not going to be playing football in the National Football League. So he knows that, and he's trying to go and get his money, and I ain't mad at that. They promised you your money, and they said it's time, or they promised you this amount of money. They said they were going to get it to you. They didn't get it to you. But what this brings following this is the part that I have a problem with. We're going to see kids that are going to start taking pads off at halftime because they don't have their money. We're going to see kids leaving in the middle of a season, like we just saw here, this because they didn't have the money. See, this is that dark side of the NIL that a lot of people were worried about, and this is that part that is going to bring into it. Not saying that he doesn't deserve his money, but you're going to start seeing people act like professionals. In the professional world, if you don't have somebody's money, they're not going to show up and do said job 9 times out of 10. They're not going to do that. They're not going to give you any IOUs, especially if you've already broken your word on UNLV's part of it. But to leave in the middle of the season, man, when your team is 3-0, I mean, that's tough. That's tough to do that. You're leading this team in passing yards and rushing yards, probably one of the leaders of this locker room. It destroys this locker room going forward. It destroys the locker room going forward. There's no trust between players and coaches for some of the other guys that have NIL deals. It destroys the recruiting as far as people that they've promised a certain amount of money coming in for an NIL deal. It does a lot, and there's a lot of ramifications that come with this, and it's not necessarily all Matthew's fault. He's just doing what's best for him, and I understand that. But this opens up a Pandora's box as far as NIL deals moving forward in college football. So, PJ, what's your opinion on this headline that we've been seeing out of UNLV these last couple of days?
This I'm mad at him. I'm also mad at the school as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, bro. It don't make no sense, man. I'm not gonna even lie to you, bro. Like it's the player empowerment stuff. Like I'm all with that. I'm all with the guys getting their money. But this is for sure the dark side of what NIL is going to end up becoming.
Yeah.
Very soon. I never thought I'd see the day where college football players are starting to hold out. Like, it don't make no sense, man. Like, your team is 3-0. I get it. Get your money. You know what I mean? Get your money. Do whatever need to get your money. But your team is 3-0, and y'all have a chance to win the Mountain West Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. If your team go undefeated and win the Mountain West Conference, you might end up having the 12th spot in the college football playoff. Yeah, maybe you might lose in the first round, but who's to say?
Yeah.
You quitting on the team. Like, you quitting on the team. I'm not going to lie. If they end up giving the boy his money and he end up coming back, I mean, that'll be crazier.
That'll be pretty wild.
That'll be crazy. But let's say that there was to be a possibility that he gets some of his money and he end up trying to come back on the team. You can't start him as your QB.
No.
You can't. The team not going to be accepting of him even coming back. If they anything like how we were, like our generation, we not cool with nobody who we feel that then quit on the team.
No, for sure.
Really don't even want to see you come back. You quitting on the team 3-0. You got a chance to win. They gotta do something about this, bro. Like I ain't gonna lie, they gotta do something before it get out of hand, because there's gonna be a lot of guys that are gonna start doing this. A lot of guys are gonna start doing this. You're gonna see a whole bunch of Antonio Browns happening on the sideline. That's off going into the locker room. You know, we just gotta do something about it, man. And and if you a school, stop making empty promises.
Yeah.
Don't make no empty promises. I know how it goes. Like coaches, yes, they will tell you anything. They will tell you anything to get you off to their school. Anything. They lie to the point to where they're trying to make it seem like the campus is really nice.
Yeah.
And now you on the campus and you like, man, this ain't what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so coaches go crazy when it comes to trying to get somebody that they want, or just trying to get kids to the school, period. They gonna do whatever they can to get you onto the campus. You got to know that, though, as a player. You got to really know that. But at some point, winning games and trying to, you know, if you want to get to the next level, that's going to have to start mattering over that money.
Yeah.
It's going to have to, because if he really, let's say, we don't know the kid, he might actually do have some dreams of playing in the league, but you just killed your whole entire draft stock. If you had any, you just killed it.
Yeah.
Like, you slaughtered the draft stock. Because if I'm an NFL scout or something, I'm just gonna call your manager and tell him, like, yeah, man, good job at just killing your client's draft stock, because nobody from the 32 teams are gonna reach out to him.
No.
You holding out in college? I can only imagine what you would do in the league. Like, not even gonna waste my time. Like, you holding out in college, bro. I already know you're gonna go crazy in the league if you end up actually deserving that bag, and you won't get it. You're gonna go crazy in the league.
Yeah, I mean that's tough.
I don't know his circumstances or nothing like that. I can't sit and say, like, he probably don't even need that money or nothing like that. I don't know the kid. We don't know him.
Yeah.
I don't know if his circumstances or whatever, but like I say, at the end of the day, bro, winning, I feel like nowadays it's almost like winning is like third. It's like third. It's like winning is third place. First is get your money. Second is their looks. You know what I'm saying? How they care about how they look towards the public.
Yep.
And then third is winning. I don't even know if winning probably third. It might be something after that. Win, fourth. What happens to guys want to be winners?
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't care how much money. You can make way more money than me. But if my team beat your team, that don't matter. We won. Like, you can have more money, but we won. You know what I mean? Like, we won. We beat y'all. So it doesn't, to me, I don't know. I feel like these kids, they don't care about winning no more, bro. I don't feel like they care about winning. It's all about money.
Yeah, and
money.
It's tough to not think that based on the actions of how we're seeing some of these players act. I mean, I don't want to say that they don't care about winning, but it sure doesn't look like it from looking on the outside, looking in to this. And for him to leave his team 3-0, like I said, you got to get your money. And this is probably the only time you're probably going to have a stock like that as far as teams wanting you. There's a lot of bad quarterbacks in college football right now, and this guy seemed to be a decent one through the first couple of weeks. So he's going to get another shot, another bite at the apple with taking his red shirt. But, man, leaving your team 3, that's a hard decision. That's a hard decision to make. And I'm sure his family, they all consulted with him on what to do and what would be best here. But like you said, leaving your team 3-0, man, that's not going to go over well in the locker room. And it just creates chaos in the locker room when UNLV is trying to get back to a point of being good in college football, because I haven't seen them be, world beaters in college football, and really in my lifetime. I can't think of a time that I looked at a UNLV squad and was like, man, these dudes are dangerous. So, and now that they have a chance, like you said, to win the Mountain West Conference, and this happens, it takes the air out of the locker room, and it's going to be tough to try to bounce back. But, you know, they brought this on themselves, man. Stop lying to these kids. Stop lying to these kids, and you wouldn't be in this situation. So I understand points on both sides, but this is just a really, really tough situation, and it opens up a whole nother door here in college football that we were prepared for, but you didn't know how early it was going to come in there. So that's a crazy thing, and we'll keep our eye on that situation as more information comes out throughout the next couple of weeks. Another quick take I want to get your opinion about. So Richard Sherman was on a podcast with Amon-Ra St. Brown and his brother, I forget which, but I think Equanimous St. Brown. They have a podcast together, and Richard Sherman was on there, and they were asking him about the Travis Hunter thing. And, you know, he had some stuff to say and said that, you know, he's kind of a bland receiver and he should play DB in the league instead of receiver. So I'm going to play a short clip of what some of the stuff he said is, and we can talk about it.
What do you think of Travis Hunter playing both receiver and DB at Colorado? Do you think it's feasible in the league, or do you think it's...
No, hell no. You know that. A little. I mean, you're talking about a few plays here and there, but we're not playing 50 snaps on offense and 55 snaps on defense. I think he goes as a corner just because of what we talked about earlier. Like, receivers his size, he's not a special size, and I don't see him as like a super dynamic, you know, route runner. He's just one of those, he's a great athlete and he's smooth, so he can get it done. I'm sure if he sat there and focused on receiver, he could be elite. But as a corner, he just looks natural. You watch some of his releases, not that everybody is totally polished when they get out of college, but it's just not that impressive if you're an NFL receiver.
What do you think of...
So that's what Richard Sherman had to say about Travis Hunter. He said he's not just super polished as a receiver. He's already, you know, just not the biggest guy in the world coming in if he came in as a receiver. And he said he should play DB. Now, that was just a short clip. In the full clip, he talked about his exceptional ball skills on the defensive side and how natural he looks at corner and how great of a corner he has the potential to be, and that the salary cap is going up, or the pay is going up 4 corners in the league. Like Sauce Gardner will probably get close to $30 million per year whenever his contract comes up. So you can get close to that receiver money somewhat. But him saying that he's a bland receiver and he won't be able to go both ways in the league and all this stuff, which I'm not disagreeing with that. He won't be able to play 50 snaps on both sides of the ball each game. That's not going to happen in the NFL. But like he said, and like I've been saying, if you create packages for this guy, he's got an opportunity to be able to do that. Now, I've already said on this show, I think Travis Hunter's the clear-cut best player in the country. He is the best player in the country. He's a complete hybrid. I talked a little bit about him yesterday with Wayne Walker, who's on here, and this is a definition of a hybrid player. We've never seen anything like this. We've seen guys play both ways. Yeah, we've seen Champ Bailey and Patrick Peterson at times, or Miles Jack when he was at UCLA, or Charles Woodson if we're going back further than that. So we've seen guys play both ways, but we've never seen anybody play full-time on both sides of the ball. No, he won't be able to do that in the league, but he is a special, special guy. Now, coming into the season, I said I think he's a better corner than he is receiver, not because he's a bad receiver, but because I think he's got best corner in the league potential with the ball skills that he has and the athleticism that he has. But, man, some of the catches he's made this year, it's going to be hard to leave this guy out of offense. It's hard to leave him out of any package on offense because of what he's been able to do. We've seen some crazy catches already this year. We've seen some crazy catches last year as well. So, PJ, what do you think about Richard Sherman's comments, calling him a bland receiver and saying he should just kind of focus on DB?
He really didn't have no reason to just dry call him.
Yeah. He really did.
I don't know why he came for him like that, man. Like that's kind of.
And Travis said something on his Instagram, said to stop speaking on me and just let me play. Go ahead.
Yeah, for real. I mean, he's gonna get talked about. He's the best player in college football.
That's gonna happen.
Gotta know that. He gotta know he's gonna get talked about. You know, in situations like that, don't even waste your time even saying anything back. You know what I mean? I know that's hard when you're young too, because you just want to kind of, you know, You want to respond to anything that you feel is disrespectful towards you or your character or, for how you play or whatever. So I get it, but that didn't need no response to it, man, because we all know that he's not just a bland receiver or cornerback. He's not a bland player at all. It's the reason why we call him the best college football player in college right now.
Yeah.
So, now I do agree, like I've been saying, it's just not realistic for him to be playing on both sides of the ball in the NFL, not consistently.
No.
Not consistently. He can be a plug-and-play player, you know what I mean? We've seen a few guys do, not a few, but I say a few. We've seen just a handful of people do that, you know what I mean? We've seen Deion do that a few times in the league, get on offense, run a route. But I don't know. I don't think he would be playing both sides, not like in college.
No,
it's
definitely not.
Taxing on the body in the NFL, man. There's too many games. And it's different. The NFL is a lot different, even though the game is starting to become soft, soft now. You see,
It's still grown men out there.
Yeah, it's still grown men out there. We got to talk about that though, because that kind of made me angry. I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think he can be playing both sides. But like I think we can plug him in on a few plays on offense or even defense, is whatever that he chooses to play in the league. But you can plug him in a few plays on either side of the ball, and I feel like he'll really benefit out of that. But as far as just starting on both sides and never really coming off the field, that's not going to work in the NFL. But he's far from a bland receiver. The guy is he could be top at whichever one that he chooses to play, whether it's receiver or cornerback.
Yeah, I think he's got potential to be one of the best. You hit the nail on the head. He got the potential to be the best at either one that he wants to be at. Like I said, I thought he was always a better corner than he was receiver, but you can't teach those type of ball skills. And he's not a do I think he's a Justin Jefferson as far as route running? No. But can he get there if he puts in the work once he gets to the NFL and your only job is football instead of right now he's balancing NIL deals and still trying to keep his brand up and still going to class and still trying to play football. When you get to the league, it's just all you got to do is just play football. So can he get to something of that level? Yeah, I think he can. So like you said, far from a bland receiver, man. And Travis, once again, I think y'all need to go drop the Heisman off over there, man. I don't know why these guys like Jackson Dart and other people are ranked in front of him as far as Heisman voting right now. But that can change as the season goes on. Richard Sherman, we're not listening to that, man. He's not a bland receiver. Like, come on. We're not going to say that. Now, I get that's not all he said. There was more context to it, and that was just a clip. But I'm going to disagree with him on calling him a bland receiver. So, folks, lots of good football coming up this weekend. College slate is full, and the game of the week is this number 2 Georgia team going to Tuscaloosa and playing number 4 Alabama on Saturday night on primetime television. Everyone will be watching. I know I'm going to be watching, and even though I'll be at the Prairie View versus Grambling game, I'll still be tuning in from the phone watching this game as well. And, man, this is going to be a great one. Like we talked about in hour number 1 a little bit, both teams, obviously championship expectations. Not too many teams go into the season expecting to win a championship. Alabama and Georgia are 2 of those teams. They come into the season expecting to win a championship, expecting to be in those Final Four teams, expecting to be in that national championship game, and also expecting to win the SEC. Now, usually we wouldn't see this game in the regular season because Georgia's always been in the SEC East and Alabama's in the SEC West. But with no divisions within the conference now because of conference realignment with Texas and Oklahoma coming, now you get to see a Georgia. See, Georgia, none of these guys on Georgia have had to go to Tuscaloosa and play there. All of these guys that have played against Alabama have got to play in the Georgia Dome or the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. They never had to go and see that crowd in Tuscaloosa. They never had to hear those 100,000 people screaming at you, cheering against you and screaming Roll Tide. So this is going to be a completely different atmosphere. And for Carson Beck, who was a first-team preseason All-American, who's projected by many still right now to be the top quarterback taking off the slot in the NFL draft, this is a prove-it game. Can you go into these environments and win? Because Honestly, I mean the SEC East was sweet. Let's just call it what it is. It was sweet. They wasn't playing nobody over there. They didn't have to play Bama and LSU and Ole Miss and all these guys every single season. So you're not getting that anymore. Now you got to come over here and play all the dogs in the SEC, and you're starting with the top dog. And Kalen DeBoer has done a great job so far coaching this team up. Still got Nick Saban's players, but he's doing a great job coaching them up with Jalen Milroe playing the best ball he's played, I think, since he's been in college, with the young stud at receiver out there at the freshman receiver making plays for him, Ryan Williams. This Alabama team is dangerous, and they're going to have their home crowd behind them. Georgia still got a salty taste in their mouth from last year, as Alabama's the one that kicked them out of getting to the college football playoffs. So this is going to be a tough game. A lot of implications for both teams coming into this one. PJ, what do you think about this matchup on Saturday night with Bama and Georgia?
Oh, yeah, this for sure going to be one of the I'll say this would be the best game leading up to Texas versus Georgia later on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
This probably might take the cake right now for being a number one game. I think Alabama might have the edge on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really not just because of how we've seen Georgia struggle against Kentucky, about 2 weeks ago now?
That was last week.
Ago?
Yeah,
last week, yeah. It's deeper than that to me. I just feel like personally, matchup-wise, I feel like Alabama kind of got an edge up on them guys. The defense for Georgia, to me, never really just looked as dominant as a lot of the other Georgia defenses that we've seen in the last few seasons.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm just not really sold on Carson Beck. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback. I'm just not sold on him. He hasn't really shown anything to me to be considered one of the top quarterbacks. And I really feel like he's benefited more off of being on a team that's just the top team in the nation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which we've seen that a lot. We've seen that a lot of times where a lot of guys benefit off of being on.
Stetson Bennett.
You know. Yeah, Stetson Bennett. Yeah, the Georgia. I really haven't seen any Georgia quarterback, bro, come out and just not in these last few years.
No, not since Matt Stafford. A long time ago.
Like, I haven't really. Yeah, that would be a long time ago. It's like 2007.
Yeah.
So I haven't really just seen anybody come out that program who, as far as quarterback, that I was just sold on being one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I mean, not in the league, but in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I just, like I say, I'm leaning more towards Alabama, but I do think this game is going to be really close. It's SEC, man. Both defenses, they're gonna keep this game close. It's not going to really be a shootout. But if any team did have a chance to score a lot of points on either team, I would say Alabama for sure, because their offense is crazy. They got weapons throughout the entire offense, man. Running back, receivers. We're seeing what the 17-year-old phenom is doing.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? Ryan Williams, he's going crazy. And then, man, Jalen Milroe, he can just
he's playing great
all around. He's playing great. Yeah, like he can throw the deep ball, but he's very dangerous if you let him get outside that pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's capable of taking it all the way to the crib for like 65 yards. If you allow him,
yeah,
he can do that. You know, so this Alabama team is really good. I honestly wish my Texas Longhorns was playing them in the regular season, because I think that this is the team that
they might have smacked them. Texas might smack them boys.
Yeah, if we're making it to the SEC championship game, like if UT do make it, I do think that this Alabama team is the team that they might run up against in the SEC championship game this year for sure. I don't really think that people have been saying they think it'll be probably a rematch of Texas and Georgia in the SEC championship game if they both were to, go undefeated, or not necessarily undefeated because they got to play each other, but win out the season. I think it'll probably be one of them two, or maybe even Ole Miss. But I think Alabama is gonna make it to the SEC championship game again this year. On that side of the SEC, man, they're dominant right now.
Yeah,
and I think they're gonna be really good for sure. As far as the season continues to go, they're gonna keep getting better to me.
Yeah, I mean that's. I think Alabama's gonna be in the championship game too. I'm the same as you. I think it's gonna be Texas and Alabama, not just because of how good they've been playing, but mainly because I don't know if Georgia can pull out all these games. Georgia might have the toughest schedule outside of maybe Oklahoma in the SEC.
Yeah.
They got Bama this week, and a few more weeks after that, they got Texas. A couple weeks after that, they got Ole Miss. The week right after that, they got Tennessee. So they're playing almost all the top 10 teams that are SEC teams that are in the top 10, all in one season before you can even get to a championship game.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, that's so. I don't know if Georgia will be able to pull. If they beat this Alabama team, can they beat Texas? If they beat Texas, can they beat Ole Miss and Tennessee in back-to-back weeks? I mean, that's tough. So I think that's too much to ask on this Georgia team. But I get it, and I ain't mad at it because Georgia been skating for years. They've been just skating to the SEC championship. Easy every year. They got Vanderbilt. They got Florida. They got. I mean, they're skating all the way to. Yeah, South Carolina. Like, come on, man.
They might play Old Dominion. It might be like Week 10 and Old Dominion. Somebody's like, why are you playing Old Dominion?
Playing Kentucky. Like, man, they've been skating by for too long. So no, y'all get in this SEC and get in this blender like Bama and LSU and all them been having to do for these last few years. So I'm excited to see that. But like you said, this game coming up, this is gonna be dependent on the quarterback spot. If Jalen Milroe takes over this game with his legs, it's game over for Georgia. They're not gonna be able to compete. Too many weapons on Bama. If Georgia can just utilize their weapons, this is still one of the most, if not the most talented team in the nation. If Carson Beck is as advertised, like they've been trying to put him to be, he's got to come out here and he's got to win these type of games. So super excited to see this game coming up on Saturday, folks. Like I said, it's at 6:30 on ABC. We'll have plenty to talk about on Monday when we come back in and see this game here. Folks, we're going to take a short break. As we come back, we got about 25 minutes left. When we come back, we're going to talk about a couple more of these college games, and we got to preview the game that's going to come on in about 45 minutes, Cowboys and Giants. So stay right here, folks. I know you want to hear the Cowboys and Giants predictions and their news coming up. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back after this short break. You're watching Centex Primetime.
Central Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports. Centex Sports Network.
That's right, sports fans. We can talk about sports.
And Infinity Sports.
Are you looking for something new and unforgettable in Waco? Come to the Blazing Asian, where authentic Cambodian flavors meet creative culinary flair. Voted People's Choice as Waco's #1 Asian restaurant since 2019 by both the Wacoan Magazine and the Waco Tribune Herald. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin, we're serving up family recipes with a twist. Blazing Asian egg rolls are rolled fresh daily, and their sauces or marinades are made in-house with love. Stop by today. Located inside the popular Union Hall on 8th and Franklin. And for Baylor students, enjoy 10% off with your student ID.
NSJ Event Co., one of the premier event designers in Central Texas and a Centex Sports Network supporter. Voted Waco Awards Event Planner of the Year 2021, NSJ Event Co. is your go-to source for event planning. Whether it's your next baby shower, birthday bash, wedding, or retirement party, NSJ Event Co. will bring out the elegance, class, and style your event deserves. Call NSJ Event Co. at the number on the screen or scan the QR code to schedule a free consultation. NSJ Event Co., where the party lady takes care of all your event needs.
It's the family feels for me. The banana pudding peach cobbler make you want to holler. For me, it's the candy yams, mac and cheese, beef tips, pork tips and rice, collard greens. It's the sweet potato pie, sweetie. Fried chicken you've been missing, the lemon sweet tea dressing on Sundays when you all dressed up. Chest pie, buttermilk, and pound cake. Cornbread with butter just dripping, always fresh baked. If you need Southern style, soul food, home cooked meals that you can feel. Chicken and dumplings, chicken pot pie, 719 South 11th Street. Sassy's, come on by.
The East Waco Empowerment Project, along with City Center Waco, is hosting WeBo, Workshop and Business Opportunity, to help create more entrepreneurs. Business owners like Aniceto Charles of True Jamaica Restaurant and Carla Dotson of Boardwalk on Elm attended WeBo to develop their business ideas into successful Black-owned businesses right in the heart of East Waco. WeBo can also help you turn your side hustle or business idea into the next thriving Black-owned business in our community. If you would like to attend this 10-week intense entrepreneurial workshop, go to WeBoWaco.org. That's WIBO Waco.org. Space.
This is live from the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports Studios.
That's right, sports fans.
About to show these boys how we do it. You ready?
Tune in to Primetime Sports Talk with Jalen Gillis, your go-to source for breaking sports news in Central Texas and exclusive Dallas Cowboys coverage on the Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports.
Welcome back into Centex Primetime, everybody, as we're here in the final stretch of the show, final 20 minutes of the show here. I want to thank everybody that's been watching with us, not only today, but all week long. Thank you guys for your support. Wouldn't be able to do this without your guys' support. Make sure you go over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button, also click that bell so you can get notified whenever we go live. If you want to be able to listen to this from wherever you're at, whether that's getting off work, like some of you are now, driving home, at home already, or at work, download the app Centex Sports 1 on the Google Play Store and on the Apple Store as well. I'm here joined by PJ Gaither as we just got done talking about some college ball, the Georgia versus Alabama matchup coming up this weekend. Lots of good college football matchups this week, folks. Some of the games I'm excited to see: Oklahoma State versus Kansas State. That's an early game. Kansas State and Oklahoma State both trying to bounce back from losses. Oklahoma State just lost to Utah in surprising fashion because Utah had a backup quarterback in and was still able to dominate Oklahoma State. So that Utah team looks to be really good. Kansas State bouncing back off of a loss against BYU, who's now number 22 in the nation. So that's a good game I'm excited to watch. Another game I'm excited to watch is BYU taking on Baylor. Home team, 11 o'clock. That's expected to be another good one, so I'm excited to tune into that one. Louisville versus Notre Dame. This Louisville team is 3-0. They've been able to make some noise. Ranked 15 now. Notre Dame 3-1, trying to bounce back after a shocking loss to Northern Illinois a couple weeks ago. But so they're going to be trying to come in and assert their dominance over Louisville in this game. So I'm excited to see that game as well. Texas A&M taking on Arkansas, kind of a rivalry game. And A&M and Arkansas, two teams that are used to playing each other now that A&M's been in the SEC for a few years now. And excited to see what these two guys can, or what these two teams can do when taking on each other once again. So a lot of good games going on around college football, folks, like I've said multiple times. Also, Illinois and Penn State. Forgot about that one. This Illinois team is making some noise, y'all. They're making some noise, and they're ruffling some feathers, and I like it. It's not a team that everybody was talking about coming in. They just won a huge game on a big platform television game on Friday last week against Nebraska. The Nebraska team had a lot of oomph coming into that game. A lot of people said Nebraska's going to be undefeated all the way until they get to the Ohio State game. That's not true anymore because they had to run into Illinois. Illinois 4-0, ranked number 19 in the nation. Penn State number 9 in the nation. Always one of those top teams. So excited to be able to watch them take each other on. That's at 6:30 as well. So great slate of college football games. But we've got to preview this game tonight, everybody. Must-win game for what it feels like for the Dallas Cowboys as they go to New York. They travel to New York to take on the New York Giants. A rivalry game, a division game, a lot riding on this. Dallas coming off of 2 losses. New York Giants finally getting a win. So something that these two teams have in common outside of their just 1-2. But their only win is against the Cleveland Browns. So I don't know, what does that say about the Cleveland Browns and them being able to get a win, or them being able to both beat up on the Browns, both these teams coming in 1-2. But a huge game coming up tonight. PJ, what do you think are going to be some of the keys for the Cowboys to be able to come out and be successful in this game? Like I said, they struggled against the run, gave up 190 against the Saints, gave up 270 against the Ravens. The Giants don't have just a spectacular running game. They got a serviceable running back in Devin Singletary. Daniel Jones can hurt you with his legs a little bit. What do you think are going to be the keys for Dallas to be able to come out and be successful against this Giants team in a few minutes here?
To be honest, I think one of the biggest things that people aren't really haven't thought about, we don't even really know if our pass defense is good. Nobody just hasn't had a point to exploit it just because the running has been working so much that it don't really make no sense to start passing the ball. You're going to stay doing what's working.
Yeah.
Outside of Diggs, he's the only one that I feel that has proven that he's good in the passing game. And even then, though, he still takes chances sometimes. Mm-hmm. But I would still say that he's considered one of the top corners for sure in the league.
Yeah.
For sure. But, we play defense. We just need to play defense. We need to stop playing hero ball. That goes for everybody on the defense. It was so many times this past Sunday. And I'm gonna try not to go on a rant.
No, do your thing.
It just mind boggles me. Like, it's middle school. They are messing up on middle school coverage assignments.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. If you play DN, what do you always have? You have the outside. You are a C-gap player. You should never be going on the inside unless it's a stunt.
And that's been their problem, running these stunts when they don't need to.
You don't need to. You know what's messing me up, though? It's veterans that are making these mistakes.
Yeah.
D. Lawrence, Michael Parsons. You got Donovan Wilson. He's just flying downhill. He's not even
and missing.
He's not even getting the tackle. He's flying downhill. He's not even getting the tackle. It's crazy. He already a liability when it comes to coverage. We got Wanye Thomas on the bench. Wanye not even playing. Why are we not playing Wanye?
You might well give him a shot at this point.
Give him a shot at this point. Because every time he do play, he plays way better coverage than Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson just wants to make big hits. Yeah. And he's not even really good at that right now. He's not even really good at that because, like I just said, he's flying downhill. He's not even getting tackles. Then we got Michael Parsons. You still on podcast, and we just lost 2 games in a row. Why are you still on the podcast? I'm an asset until his podcast go away. Why are you still on the podcast talking, and we just lost 2 games in a row? It don't make sense.
And the teams are running right to you.
They running straight to him. Because he's a liability. He's not a DN. He is a linebacker. Yep. We need to put him back at linebacker. He's not a DN. All this Lawrence Taylor talk, they need to cut that out.
Yeah, they got to stop.
He's a linebacker, bro. Keep him at linebacker. He's not a DN. He needs to focus on trying to be a better linebacker because DN is just not where it's at. If we can put him in it, like I say, plug and play. I've been saying that since he came into the league. If we want to do that, we can plug him in on certain times where he can come off the edge because he has enough speed to get around that tackle and get a sack. Definitely if it's 3rd and long and they got to pass the ball.
Yeah,
he's good at doing. He's very capable of doing that. But just having him be a full-time DN is just not going to work because he don't even know certain keys, certain roles that he play as a DN because he's not a DN. And it's bad enough on the other side we got D. Lawrence, and he's not doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yep.
That guy, why are you plugging in the B gap and you're a C gap player? It don't make no sense. Now you are attacking the gaps that the linebacker is supposed to be attacking.
And it's bad.
And then you got on the chat saying dumb stuff, bro. Like I think somebody say, "Oh, it's because they run a 4-3 defense." That's retarded, bro. Like that don't even make sense. What are you saying? What do you mean by the problem is that they run a 4-3? Didn't the Giants run a 4-3 with Lawrence Taylor?
I think they were kind of a hybrid defense, kind of like the Patriots were.
They run a 4-3 though sometimes. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
like you said, I think they got to move Micah back. If they're running a 4-3, that's cool. But Micah got to be a traditional outside linebacker, like what we used to see, like you said, a Lawrence Taylor. And they ran like a hybrid because Bill Belichick did it his whole time in New England too. It's going to be 4-3 and it's going to be 3-4. It's going to be nickel packages. They run a little bit of everything. But you got to move Micah back to that second level, man, because like you said, he's not built to be a DN. He's not built to go out there and close and keep that outside edge like you need him to. Because if you got a big enough tackle, we're just going to run at you. Yes, he's fast, and yes, he's strong. He's not big enough to just push over a offensive tackle that's good in the league on a run play. Yeah, you might see him knock some guys over on passing plays. That's when a lineman is backing up. When a lineman is putting his hand in the dirt and trying to knock you over, Mike is not big enough to get force back on them. He's got to be able to shoot in those B gaps, like you said, coming in as an outside linebacker, like a Derrick Brooks or somebody like we've seen before in the past like that. Not him just being a traditional DN, because he's not even big enough to be that.
Unacceptable, bro. It's unacceptable, man. And then the crazy part about it, we saying all this, I don't think they're gonna even make the changes. I've seen D. Lawrence and Micah at one point get blocked. Who ain't number 17 on the Ravens? Robert Woods, or am I tripping?
17 on the Ravens.
Not Woods. On the Ravens. Whoever 17.
They got Nelson Aguilar. I'm not sure if he's number 17. They got a few guys.
It might be him. Kudos to you, whoever number 17 is on the Ravens, because you blocked D. Lawrence and Micah at one point. 1-on-1. Both of them got blocked.
Oh, I think you're talking about number 7. That was Bateman.
Number 7, yeah. Rashad Bateman. Shout out to Rashad Bateman, because he just blocked our DN. That don't make no sense. How you a DN? Both of y'all DNs and y'all getting blocked by receivers?
Yeah, that's tough.
How much Rashad Bateman weigh? He probably a buck 95, 200.
You hit it right on the head. 195, 6'1", 195.
He 195. Man, you dudes, come on, bro. That don't make no sense. Y'all, Micah is like 245. He like 240, 245.
Yeah, it's not.
Lawrence is heavier. He like.
He a big guy. He's more like 280. He's somewhere in there.
Yeah, 280. How you getting blocked by a dude that's 195, bro? That don't make no sense. Y'all out here tossing tackles, but you can't toss the receivers. They playing trash. They're playing very soft. That's very soft. It's very soft. I don't get it. But it's gonna come down to tonight, because they will lose the game tonight. They will lose the game if they go out there and they're not staying on their keys. Just worry about yourself. Do what your keys are on whatever coverage, whatever stunt, whatever. Focus on what you need to be doing. Stop trying to do the next guy's job, because y'all doing the next job, trying to do his job, and then you find two guys in one gap, and then the next gap is open, and now we got a 30-yard touchdown.
Yeah, and we seen it 2 weeks in a row.
The guy who was supposed to, 2 weeks in a row. Like, the guy that's supposed to be in that position, not there. So stop trying to do everybody's job. Stop trying to be Supermans and stuff, man. It's 11 guys on the defense, bro. Trust your teammate that's playing next to you that he's gonna do his job. Trust that he's gonna be able to do his job. Stop running stunts unless Mike Zimmer told y'all to do that stunt. And I just know that Zimmer is not telling these guys to play this dumb. They are literally messing up stupid. I'm talking about, bro, they're messing up the most simple assignments that goes all the way back to Little League football, and they're not doing it. And that's the reason why they're 1-2 right now. And if they're not careful after tonight, they're gonna be 1-3, because the Giants, we at this point we lose against anybody.
Because there's a formula out there. That's why you can lose to anybody. There's a formula against the Cowboys that was set in place last year. See, you can go all the way back to last year when I heard this a lot. Talking to Cowboys fans. There was just a fluke game. That was just a fluke game when they lost to Joshua Dobbs and the Arizona Cardinals, who ended up being one of the worst teams in the league, all because they ran for about 200 yards. And they said, that was just a fluke game. Don't worry about it. Everybody loses every now and then. And from that point on, the teams that were dedicated to running the football beat the Cowboys. When they played,
there's been a blueprint on us for the past 5 years, bro. Just run the ball.
But it's been at an all-time high the last 2 years, though. They've had some pieces in there to be able to be decent against the run in the past, decent. But with this Dan Quinn defense, see, and that's the other problem. Dan Quinn, his personnel is still on this team, but he's not there anymore to run that personnel. He at least knew how to get something out of their run defense, because as bad as they were against the run last year, they didn't give up 500 yards rushing in 2 games last year. That never happened. Mike Zimmer is doing that coming in now. Dan Quinn is out there in Washington, and we'll see what they end up being. They don't have any talent on the defensive side, so I don't expect the defense to be good right away in Washington. But for the Cowboys, man, you go out here and you get random stuff. You don't address your needs. You needed another receiver next to CD. You didn't address it. You needed a running back. You got Zeke. You needed they tried to address the left tackle situation with Tyron Smith and drafting the young kid, but, that might end up being a miss. And you never went and got any D tackles. They were bad against the run, and they said, all right, bet we're going to get some D tackles and went and got Jonathan Hankins, Linval Joseph. I didn't know these dudes were still playing football. Linval Joseph got drafted in like 2008. I didn't know these dudes were still playing football. How did you go and get and of course leave it up to Mike Zimmer, who was the coach of the Vikings when Linval Joseph was there for a decade, to go and I'm gonna go get my guys. I'm gonna go get my old guys. Hey, he wasn't playing with somebody for a reason. You go and get Jordan Phillips, the D tackle who's been in the league for a long time. He's just looking completely lost out there. Your best D tackle is the guy that was your worst D tackle last year, in Mozzie Smith. He's your best D tackle right now. You didn't address those needs, and it's coming back to bite them. Unfortunately, this game tonight, I think Dallas will win. But if they don't come out, I'm coming out and putting 8 in the box. Daniel Jones gonna have to throw for 400 yards on me, and if I lose that way, hey, I'll lose that way. But I gotta take my chances. You cannot let teams keep coming in and running this football on you. Derek Carr had like 13 or 14 completions. Lamar Jackson had 12 completions. They're not even trying to throw the ball, because why throw it? If we can just run the ball and safely be guided into the end zone after we just hit one of these wide open holes. So if they don't find a way to stop this run, I think they're going to do it tonight. I think they're gonna come out and do, just like I said, you got to stack the box. Make Daniel Jones beat you. He's going to have to prove that he's a competent NFL quarterback over and over and over and over, and I think that's the only way for them to come out with a win. PJ, what are you, final thoughts about how the Cowboys can win tonight and what they got going this season?
But they just need to like I say, man, play defense, and just play disciplined football. Because the whole thing right now, while they're 1-2, is because they're playing undisciplined. You got guys on the sideline arguing amongst each other. You got a lot of diva football going on. You got CD, you mad you're not getting the ball, but when you do get the ball in your hand, you drop it. It doesn't make any sense, and then you kind of got to understand, too, as a receiver, you're going to literally in some of these plays, bro, if not most plays, the quarterback already know who he's going to.
Yeah.
So, and he knows that. So it shouldn't really even be explained to him. You know what I mean? I'm not like it's just play football, man. Just go out there, play football, play discipline. Everybody needs to focus on themselves. Let the game come to them instead of trying to go and snatch the game, because it's not going to work. You're going to lose every time like that. Let the game come to you. Go out there, play physical. We got to stop, because I'm telling you, the blueprint on us is to hit the Cowboys in the mouth from the first play, and they're going to fold. And that goes for offense and defense. You come out and you hit the Cowboys in the mouth from the first few plays of the game, they're going to fold. Stop trying to get all these garbage time stats. All these garbage time stats, bro, they don't mean that, not to the people like us.
No.
They don't mean nothing to us. Still lost the game. It don't really matter that Dak threw for 400 yards, but we lost. Who cares? I just seen a stat or something saying that I think he leads the league right now in yards.
Who was that?
Yeah, I think Dak. I think he leads the league in yards or something like that, or a touchdown thrown. It don't matter because we lost.
Yeah, he's leading the league in yards, 851.
Yeah, but we 1-2. Who cares? We won. There's not nothing to be proud of. Go win games. They got to change the culture within, and I do believe some guys need to just be let go. Some of these guys, they need to be let go, man. You need to start playing your younger people, bro. I do believe that, but to go out there and win tonight, it makes no reason. Like, it makes no sense to be losing against the Giants. We are a way better.
Bro, I'm looking at their depth chart right now. there's not that much talent on this team. The O-line should get slaughtered tonight by the Cowboys D-line. Like it can't even be a win. Andrew Thomas is good. He's a good left tackle, one of the best left tackles in the league. There is a bunch of nobodies out here, everybody else on this offensive line. John Runyon is good. He came from the Packers. He's decent. But as far as the good lineman, it's just Andrew Thomas. At the receiver spot, it's just Malik. Defensive-wise, their D-line is good. Dexter Lawrence is one of the best, if not the best, D tackle in the league. They got Brian Burns and they got Kayvon Thibodeau. Secondary is absolutely weak. Their secondary is so weak. If you going out here getting all these yards, this need to be the game. You go and do it. But when you put them in those situations with the way that this Cowboys O-line has struggled, it's going to be an interesting game. Interesting matchups to see. I'm interested to see this D-line versus the Cowboys O-line that's been struggling because that's the only premier group that the Giants even have is the D-line because of Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence, who might be the best D tackle in the league. Outside of that, they have no other great skill group on their team. Linebackers, weak. Secondary, extremely, extremely weak. Offensive line outside of Andrew Thomas, weak. Receivers outside of Malik Neighbors, weak. So the Cowboys have to go out here and get this dub in this game, man. So this game's coming on in about 20 minutes. I know all of y'all are going to be tuned in, so I don't have to say get tuned in for this one because y'all will be watching just like we'll be watching. But, man, if they lose this game, we got a lot to talk about tomorrow on Monday, man. So I hope y'all are getting ready to tune in to Centex Primetime. Folks, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks again to everybody for tuning in and listening/watching with us, whether you're listening on Infinity Sports Radio, Central Texas, on the Centex Sports One app, or if you're listening or if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook at Centex Sports Network. Thank you to you guys. We'll be back here for a shortened special Friday Night Light edition tomorrow of Centex Primetime as we lead you into the La Vega game. Go ahead.
My bad. I want to say one more thing. I just want to shout out D Rose.
Man, a legend. A legend.
I mean, yeah, we got to shout D Rose out.
Man.
And shout out to the Prairie View and Panthers who
yes,
gonna play Grambling this Saturday.
For sure.
We're gonna attempt to get the dub. We lost to Texas Southern. We ain't looking too good this year. Texas Southern good though. I ain't gonna do them like that.
But Grambling is good though. I got a chance to sit down with both of the coaches on Monday on Media Day, and first off, it was just great being able to go to that Media Day. Just getting to be around Black excellence like that was really good to see. But man, Grambling's got a good team. Coach Mickey Joseph is not playing around. He's a very historic coach. He's been around for a long time as far as coaching. He was the wide receiver coach. He's the guy that recruited Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson to LSU. He was wide receiver coach when they won the national championship. His brother is Vance Joseph, who's the defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos. He comes from a football family, and he's serious. It wasn't a whole bunch of joking going on even when I was interviewing him. He's just a serious guy. And Grambling's got a good team, but I'm going to be rooting for PV, man. I went and got me a hat today, so I'll be out there with my PV hat on Saturday. And like you said, man, definitely shout out to Derrick Rose on your retirement. His career wasn't the one that a lot of us expected him to have, but when you look back at it in totality, he had a great career. 15 years in this league, youngest dude to ever win MVP in the league, a dominant, most athletic guard I've ever seen still. I see people comparing John Morant to him and stuff. Stop it. Y'all need to stop. Derrick Rose is one of one. He's in a category of his own. To see what he was able to do from Simeon High School, the background that he came from. People don't even know his story, man. Y'all got to go do your research. The background that this dude came from, like saying somebody's out the trenches, out the gutter, like that's Derrick Rose, man. And to see him be able to put on for his
Chicago legend.
For real Chicago legend. One of the most inspiring players if you're from that Chicago area of all time. So salute to Derrick Rose, man, on your retirement. Enjoy your money. You got plenty of it from Adidas and from the Chicago Bulls. So enjoy your money, man, and a happy retirement. Folks, once again, thanks everybody for watching with us. Thanks to PJ for jumping on here with me. And shout out to Cedric Eigerhart, who will be doing the pregame show here tomorrow at 6:30. So make sure you tune in for that, La Vega versus Stephenville tomorrow. We will see you guys next time on Centex Primetime. We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody have a good night.
Texas home for sports. It's Centex Sports Network and Infinity Sports. Catch all your in-depth sports analysis with the best. The hottest sports show in the evening is Centex Primetime, hosted by Jalen Gillis.
Act like y'all.
Weekdays 5 to 7. This is the Central Texas #1 leader in sports.